Bulginaka, do you know that cybercrime is becoming a growing problem in Fiji?
Cybercrime is defined as a crime in which a computer is the object of the crime, such as hacking and spamming.
Cybercrime is also cyberbullying and using fake profiles to cause panic and spreading false news.
If you're involved in this or know anyone who's committing these crimes, report them immediately.
I'm Polly.
And I'm Peter.
We host the Traffic Jam Show on City FM.
From 3 p.m. to 7 p.m. every weekday.
Do the right thing.
Kanabidaka Fiji, in this bulletin, widespread public compliance important, says PM. FNPF withdrawals clarified and market opening hours revised.
From the studios of FBC Suva, Edwin Nunn.
Prime Minister Vorengem Bainimarama says without widespread public compliance, they will not be able to win the war on coronavirus. Bainimarama says he acknowledges that the travel restrictions and lockdown measures in place has not been easy for anyone. He says through the intensive work of their contact tracing teams, doctors, nurses, health inspectors, police officers, the military and support staff from across the government, they have done extremely well in terms of surveillance, testing and containing new cases.
But even if we throw every resource in government at our response effort, without widespread public compliance, we will not win the war on coronavirus. And we are at war, as I've said before, make no mistake. I know every Fijian wants to stop this virus dead in its tracks. I know we all want to get back to the business of living normally as soon as it is safe to do so. It's high time every Fijian starts supporting and adhering to the government's measures to keep them safe and beat this virus once and for all.
The Prime Minister once again assured that they are doing everything that needs to be done to urgently contain COVID-19.
Everyone who gets off the flight is being quarantined in government-funded designated centers and monitored. We have been relentlessly tracking down contacts, monitoring self-quarantines, and testing hundreds of suspected cases. And every day, we are actively ramping up these efforts even more, preparing and expanding our facilities, setting up new fever clinics, scoping out new isolation centers to prepare for the worst case scenario. We cannot and will not rest so long as COVID-19 poses a risk to the Fijian people.
The Prime Minister reminds Fijians that if they've been directed into compulsory self-quarantine or know someone who's been ordered into quarantine, to treat this crisis seriously. The Prime Minister has also warned that those caught breaking the government-imposed quarantine or any other rules will face harsh penalties.
When we passed our COVID-19 response budget, we also gave teeth to our enforcement under the Public Health Act. It used to be $40 fine if anyone violated our COVID-19 health protection measures. Now, it's 5 years in prison and up to $10,000 fine, or both. Lawbreakers, be warned. We will have zero tolerance for those recklessly risking the lives of themselves or others.
Meanwhile, Police Commissioner Brigadier General Sitiveni Gilio says the nationwide curfew from tonight does not mean that movement of workers will be restricted. Brigadier General Gilio explains the curfew is imposed to ensure that there is no loitering. He says bakers, security guards and essential service workers will be allowed to go to work.
For those of you that need to go to work, we'll work from the ID cards, and also it's incumbent on the police officers that are there on the ground that they should know the people in their area and work with identification that they know of, or otherwise they will get in contact with the companies that they are going to work in.
There will be 101 checkpoints supplemented by temporary checkpoints and police patrols to ensure people take heed of the restriction. Gilio has also revealed that they will be assisted by the military and Navy in their operation. The Health Ministry has received its first supply of essential items, including the $1 million worth of personal protective equipment. This is one of the many investments to ensure Fiji is fully equipped to fight the global COVID-19 pandemic. Health Minister Dr. Ifiremi Wangainabete says they've established fully equipped isolation units in most hospitals or health centers and there's additional supplies will boost their daily operations.
Today, about $1 million worth of PPEs have arrived as of yesterday into the country and being distributed as we speak. And these are the important investments that government has done, and certainly with the 40 million that's been given for the next 4 months will certainly help us to be able to prepare for the fight against COVID-19.
The opening hours for municipal markets have been revised to ensure vendors are able to comply with the curfew. Local Government Minister Pramila Kumar says markets across the country will now open at 8 a.m. She adds a lot of vendors travel from far in the early hours of the morning, and the decision was made after consultations with special administrators. Kumar has also highlighted that Fijians are not taking the social distancing advisory seriously when marketing, and they have taken steps to resolve this.
To avoid this overcrowding at the market, we have made the decision to decentralize the markets. We will now put up tents with the vendors in different areas, in the neighborhoods as well as in the cities and towns. For example, we can put up a tent at UN Park where they can sell their vegetables, and that will reduce overcrowding.
3 key packages will be rolled out for those affected by the COVID-19 pandemic, as announced in the response budget. Economy Minister A.S. Syed Kayum says that they've received a lot of queries in regards to the Fiji National Provident Fund withdrawals. Syed Kayum says those in the hospitality and tourism sector who've been laid off, have had their hours reduced, or their hotels have closed down completely are entitled to withdraw $1,000 from their account. For those who don't have enough money in their account, the government will cover the balance.
So if they have, for example, $100 to withdraw, the government will actually give them the balance, which is $900. Government is not going to physically do it itself. We'll channel it through the FNPF accounts. And of course, FNPF will be setting up the various mechanisms through which they can actually access those funds.
Minister for Women Meraseni Vuniwanga says there's not been a hike in domestic violence, as is the trend in other countries amidst the COVID-19 outbreak. However, the ministry is anticipating this will happen. She says when households are placed under strain, the risk of gender-based violence tends to increase. The minister confirms officials are working with all relevant stakeholders to ensure that women and girls are protected at this time.
The safety, security and economic protection of all women and children, including those with disabilities and marginalized groups, is the top priority for government.
The National Domestic Violence Helpline 1560 and the National Child Helpline 1325 will continue to be fully operational during the period of lockdown. The Fijian Broadcasting Corporation will now be airing religious program called Keep the Faith on its FPC2 platform. FPC Chief Executive Riaz Syed Kayum says there was a huge demand for religious programs to be aired, especially considering the situation Fiji is facing due to COVID-19. Syed Kayum says any religious body that wants to air its sermons or religious teachings can approach the team at FPC.
Usually when human beings are not sure about something, they usually turn towards their faith. And this is where, as a national broadcaster, we want to be at the service of all Fijians by having an outlet for that sort of need as well.
The program began airing last Friday. Coming up, Fiji's 7 squad will not be named by the end of the month, and Silk Tails to continue individual training.
Oirana ngone no de nunu enda bisi ni mataka.
Mersusunga da kena loma dina kena mikron.
Sakena ngauna mitaro bina no rabaksa ngai ka wala loma takina ngone. Dalabina oya wa meliki.
Bulre oya wa Samuel Samuli.
Nama kikirau enda be mataka.
Boniti kina makarombuka.
Ni boy tiri kalimana miniti me ono kina tiri na kaloko. Ena Radio Fiji 1 nandobo ibiti.
Indaw kina na mataka. Dan ramai na singabo.
Welcome back. The Fiji Airways National Sevens final squad to the Tokyo 2020 Olympic Games will not be named by the end of the month. This is a result of the Games having been postponed until next year. Head coach Gareth Baber says they will be working with other stakeholders on how to proceed with the issue.
We will be guided by FASANOC and the Olympic rulings on when and how we release that or confirm those names. So we're under no pressure as it is now.
Triple jumper Eugene Volmer has missed out on the run for the lone universality spot allocated for athletics towards the Tokyo 2020 Olympic Games. The Pacific Games gold medalist sustained an injury, leaving the spot for Mustafa Fall and Banuve Tambakodoro. Athletics Fiji Chief Development Officer Antonio Ramboaliku says the federation will nominate the athlete based on other merit or ranking basis.
Any athlete that qualifies on merit will go to the Olympics. And now, if that doesn't take place, because we all know the qualifying standard is very high, the athlete that will go is the athlete that will go according to the highest ranking in the world standings, and also depending on their point system.
The Kaiviti Silktails will continue individual training despite the suspension of the Ron Macy Cup competition. The competition was put on hold in response to the global COVID-19 pandemic. Head coach Brandon Costin says they aim to keep the players engaged and to keep track of their fitness.
Each player has an app on their phone which is called Team Builder, and it's an app where they're given a program, a running program and a gym program, and if they can't get to a gym, there's a body weight program they can do from home.
Showers and thunderstorms are likely over most places. And that's your FBC Morning News. Join us at 1 p.m. and 7 p.m. for our major bulletin. Remember, in times of crisis, you need factual news that you can trust. Stop believing fake news about the COVID-19 on social media. Fight misinformation by getting only the facts about the coronavirus from verified news sources like FBC's TV, radio and digital media news. www.fbcnews.com.fj, keeping Fijians connected with the truth.
हमारे खूबसूरत देश फिजी में चाइल्ड अब्यूज की घटनाएं आए दिन बढ़ रही हैं।
क्यों बच्चों का मासूम बचपन अब्यूज का शिकार हो जाता है?
अपने बच्चों की सुरक्षा का खास ख्याल रखें।
उनसे बातचीत करें, उनके दोस्तों के बारे में जानें।
आज के बच्चे देश का भविष्य है। मैं दीप्ति
और मैं मोनिश,
आपके हमसफर। शामिल हो जाए हमारे साथ मंडे टू फ्राइडे
5:45 AM से 10 AM तक
रेडियो फिजी 2 देश की धड़कन पर।